where every time I would open my page, it was like, new follower 2 seconds ago, new follower 2 seconds ago, new follower 3 seconds ago, new follower 3 seconds ago, new follower 4 seconds. You were like, whoa.
Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of the Beauty in You podcast. I'm super excited for this guest. I've known her for forever. I feel like forever. But me and her connected. We were roommates.
Yeah.
The only mommies, I think, and roommates. And we've been like,
That is why they put us together.
yeah, I don't want to say stuck together, but we've definitely been invested in each other's journeys ever since then. So welcome to the Beauty in You podcast. How are you?
You, my dear, I'm so good. It's been crazy. It's been a really intense, at least 2 years since I saw or was on the podcast the last
time, yeah. Yep.
But I'm doing really, really well and kind of shifting things around in my business again, which is kind of inspiring and pushing me and pushing myself to new ideas. And I just love that part, right? That is for me the reason. Well, one of the top 3 reasons why I started my own business and started doing my own thing.
Yes. So tell the audience a little bit about yourself and what you do.
I do a whole bunch of stuff. The main and first part of my business really is business English coaching, which I always describe as, because I used to say I'm an English teacher, and for the most part that is true, but I think people get the wrong idea of what that means when I say I'm an English teacher.
Yeah.
So business English coach I go into international companies here in Germany, and I teach their CEOs and their engineers and their sales teams how to do their business, but in English. So with that, there is some grammar and there's some, new vocabulary and all that kind of stuff, but it's also learning how to write appropriate emails and how to start an email conversation and request information versus how to respond to someone who's already calling you by their first name, things like this. So there's a lot of hands-on what to do in this very specific situation so that you can know that in the future. As I told you, I think 2 years ago, this is my normal kind of introduction, so to say. Yeah. When I had my son, my second child, it became really, really clear to me that if anyone in our house was sick, myself, my daughter, my son, or even my now ex, or even his mother, they were sick, there was times I had to cancel my job because there's now nobody to take over. So I'm healthy. My kid is healthy. But if grandma is sick, I can't go to my work because I need to be the one taking care of my child. So there was a lot of times where I was at home with them. Sometimes they're just sick and they lie on you and then they nap. And I started kind of creating, first of all, I guess it was the Instagram account. Yeah. At the time, it was a local concept. So it's English in Würzburg. Würzburg is the city I'm based in Germany. And so the idea was basically at some point, I'm going to want to get new clients, or I'm going to want to expand, or basically the idea was always one-on-one coaching live. At around 700 followers, I realized that none of my followers are in Würzburg, so that doesn't help. And then in and around 2,000 followers, I kind of started thinking I need something where I can help people in a bigger way, but also not necessarily fill up my schedule more. Now, little did I know that basically is, the basic business model of scalability. It's just that at the time, that was all I needed. I just wanted to help other people, but not take that time away from my children. So I changed the name to English Anywhere and created my first video course. And as all success stories, let's call it that, go, my first launch brought in $0.0. Yeah. And then I realized there's so much more to what I'm doing than simply putting a course together and then hoping people buy it. So then you'll have to learn how to do so many different things, right? It's how to write sales pages, how to describe your product, how to make content that goes online, because the world was shifting and changing at that time. Then I had this course and COVID went into everything. And then all of a sudden, I was getting job opportunities in India to teach 200 employees for Fortune 500 call-in centers. So, like any call-in Fortune 500 company has a call-in center, and all of those are basically based in this one center in India.
Mm-hmm.
So they wanted to learn, how to respond appropriately to certain questions, how to give bad news, how to deny a client something, how to put in requests for something. Not a lot of emails, but a lot of telephone conversations. What's the right way to say what they wanted to say? And I needed to put together very, very quickly um, a digital version of one-on-one coaching combined with the digital course and then also voice notes to be able to practice for 200 people. And then I needed to build a team very quickly.
Yep.
So I did that. I mean, it feels like decades ago, but it was in 2020.
Yeah.
And then after that, I also started helping other teachers learn, because a lot of the information that I learned, how to write sales pages, how to make viral content, blah, 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 all of those things didn't necessarily help me in my business as someone who identifies not as a content creator, but a teacher.
Yeah.
Right? I want to teach from my heart. I want to work from my heart. I'm not trying to scam people into buying my products. I'm not trying to convince people that they need something they don't actually need. And I'm not trying to sell something that won't help anybody.
Right.
Right. So that, like, then we started working with teachers as well.
Mm-hmm.
And since then we've grown numerous digital courses, numerous different concepts of memberships, including most recently a membership for business women and how they can communicate to portray more confidence in the business place. Because, like, this is the longest introduction ever. But
Tell the story. Tell the story.
but the idea. So, for example, there's one thing in English grammar that is correct grammatically speaking, and it's called the question tag. And the question tag turns a sentence into a question. But it's not like it's cold outside. Is it cold outside? It's cold outside, isn't it? That isn't it is the question tag. And you have to reverse the verb, negate the verb. And then if that one's negative, this one has to be positive. Then you have to repeat the pronouns. It's like, you're vegetarian, aren't you? So this is a legit grammatically correct thing that English speakers do. However, in the business place, if you as a woman are consistently using question tags, it makes you sound like you're questioning yourself.
Yep.
Makes you sound like you're asking for the approval of the other people in the room, who are also typically men. So things like this that have just kind of fallen into my plate over the years of working with different women. And then I put together a membership for business women and was teaching diplomats in Mongolia, AI founders. The woman was in Iran but living in Japan. Like, just incredible stories of absolutely everyone that I've worked with. And it's all started from this silly little Instagram page I started because I didn't know how to work when my babies were having their nap. So that's my introduction.
No, it's crazy how the little Instagram page, because that's how mine started. It was just a little Instagram page to share my lessons from therapy. And then it turned into, wait, what are you going through? To the Chi Quita Mack, to helping women find their stories. But I started out helping moms too. And that's how we connected. I started helping moms rediscover themselves through motherhood and after motherhood. And then we transitioned to finding the voice, and we transitioned to the HEAL framework. We transitioned to helping them with their branding and the nonprofit rediscovery. And then the podcast started out as a live, and then it went like, so it's just crazy how the little Instagram or the little thing, something that we think is the little whatever, turns
Yeah.
into something even greater with consistency and believing in yourself. I mean, we
Yeah.
both. I mean, your following was already huge when we first met, but even continue to watch you grow. I'm like, what else can this woman? What are you doing now? Like, girl.
Actually, I think when we met, we were in Portugal.
Yep.
And for whatever reason, I remember this because, like, I got back from Portugal, and at the time there was a Ukrainian mom and her child living with us.
Yes.
war had just started
Yep, I remember that.
and they fled and they were in Poland. And one of their contacts messaged me because I was actually teaching a teacher whose cousin's cousin or something like that was from Ukraine and in Poland, and they didn't know where her and her child should go.
Mhm.
So she came to my place. And then, so I remember this because I got back from Portugal with you, and that woman, her name was Tanya, she said, I've always wanted to go to Switzerland. It's just been on my bucket list forever. And I'm like, you're in Germany. We're so close to Switzerland. My business partner's in Switzerland. Let's go. And then we came back. And then 2 or 3 weeks later, we were in Austria on holiday. And I remember that because when I was in Portugal, I went from 45,000 followers. I was like stuck. Like with every new follower that came, what someone left.
Yeah.
Every 5 followers that came, 6 people left. Like I was just stuck at this following for, I want to say 4 or 5 months, like a really, really long time.
Mhm.
And then while I was in Portugal, I hit 50,000. And I remember saying that to you, like, I just hit 50,000. That's crazy because, like, this week I've gained 5,000 followers. And then while I was in Switzerland, the direct trip after that with this Ukrainian mom and daughter,
Mhm.
I hit, I don't know, 60,000 or something. And then I had a wild amount of videos just go crazy viral all of a sudden. And I had 80,000 new followers. I want to say overnight, but it was probably around the like a 2 week span
Mhm.
where every time I would open my page, it was like new follower 2 seconds ago, new follower 2 seconds ago, new follower 3 seconds ago, new follower 3 seconds ago, new
Mhm.
follower 4 seconds. You were like, whoa. And that I think that was the beginning of like a really crazy time. Then things just exploded.
Yeah, I
Follow.
remember all the videos. You're like, this one just went viral, and this one, and I was like, wait, what are you doing? And I'm like, let me see what her format is. What's happening here?
And I get messages from people being like, you're all over my
Yes,
Instagram.
every time I open, I'm
Like, I
like,
got
what?
messages from my neighbors who were like, I didn't even know you were doing this. Like, now I'm following you. And I'm like, I
Yeah,
had no idea you were following because I can't keep
keep
up
up.
with the new
Yeah,
people coming in. It was just crazy.
yeah. So that was then Portugal 2022. Life was different for you then than it is now. You've had some huge changes, not only in the business, but also with your healing journey. So, kind of walk me a little bit through your healing journey and kind of where you are now in that rediscovery process.
Um, love the way you worded that, but I always love the way you word things, Chiquita. Yeah. So to Portugal 2022, what, like you said, was a very different time.
Mhm.
Spring of 2023, I got hit with the bombshell. Didn't see it coming
Mhm.
that my ex was no longer happy and was questioning whether or not to stay with me. And at the time, I had, memberships and the courses and one-on-ones and the kids. And I had, I mean, God, if you look back at the video 2 years ago, I'm like glowing, going, my fantastic husband, and he's so
Mhm.
good with this, and he takes the kids, and he like provides space for me to do what I need to do. Um, and then, I guess there was just way too much space between us at the time. I was focusing on my stuff, and he wasn't focusing on me, or we weren't focusing on each other. Um, And I guess I was just kind of assuming we were good because I was good. I think that was kind of the problem there is like, well, I love my life. We built this life on purpose. Everything, the house and the trampoline and the solar panels and electric cars, like we wanted when we were dating at that time.
Mhm.
We wanted to build a house with, all of these kind of futuristic elements to it. We had that. We had built that. And I remember, standing in the living room, or in the living room, in the kitchen, cooking dinner, and he'd come out of the home office, and we'd like cook together, and the kids are playing in the garden, and like it was just my dream life. So I thought we were good.
Yeah.
And then clearly we weren't. We broke up, and things just. I mean, it was obviously just a really hard time. I moved to this country for him.
Yeah.
my immediate response is like, I want to go home. I want to be in my own language, my own culture, and my surrounded by my family and friends, which is just impossible because you can't just pick up two kids and carry them to another country without their dad's approval.
Yeah.
Um, and things just went really crazy, but very, very quickly I noticed like for myself, he might be in chaos,
Hmm.
but I don't have to join him
Yeah.
in that chaos. And the kids need someone who's not in chaos.
Correct.
So I very, very quickly, I want to say like within the first week, I had bought myself a manifesting journal just with the idea of like writing down my thoughts in the morning. What am I it was a gratitude journal. What am I grateful for in this situation, which was a really maybe a strange reaction because it's a very hard time to feel grateful,
Hmm.
but I just wanted to focus on all of those things. And I remember even just writing down, like I'm just grateful that he let me stay in this house. I'm grateful that the children are okay and they seem to be doing well with this. I'm grateful for certain friends who reached out while I was having a really horrible day. There was the first couple of weeks I really struggled to eat. Like literally at one point I had one spoonful of rice and just thought, I can't eat this. This is making me feel sick.
Mm.
And then I would be grateful for the spoonful of rice. And just kind of really focusing on the things I could be grateful for.
Yeah.
I really stepped back from my business at that point as well. And in most of my memberships, then I brought in other teachers. Luckily, at that point, I had built enough of a business that I could really lean back on people. I have an assistant on my social media, and she was posting things for me, like posting old videos just to kind of keep things going.
Yeah.
My business partner took over most of my online classes, and then the other teachers in our team took over online classes and memberships and things like this, just so I could really focus on me. And somehow I was still generating something while focusing on myself. So I remember thinking, like, I'm so grateful again that I
Yes.
have built this thing under me that allows me to step back in this moment and just kind of be be sad, be in my bed, not get out of pajamas or whatever, even though it looked like, life had still continued. I hadn't announced anything on social media. Everything just stayed the same. And I was still bringing in at least one-on-one clients for our teachers. Um, yeah. So that was the beginning there. That was probably the first 9 to 12 months after all of that was really just kind of me stepping back, focusing on the things that I'm grateful for each day.
I remember as you were telling your journey, when you talked about that spoon of rice, like being thankful for that spoonful of rice. I lost so much weight in the
Mm.
beginning of the process when everything was just so bad. Like you could literally see my bones like really bad. There's one picture I always kind of go back to when I do my self reflecting, and it's me in a bathing suit. But you can see my collarbone and you can like count my ribs. Like you ain't counting nothing right now. I'm sitting pretty good, but
Nobody's
but
kidnapping me now.
listen, I am good. I'm healthy. I am healthy right now. But I remember being in that space where I was just like, I was just so small and so sick. I say like literally sick because I didn't want to eat. Um, I was putting on a show, like, acting like everything was all great and trying to push forward. But I was like eating my body, my mental, everything was eating me up inside. Like,
Literally.
yeah,
Yeah. Crazy.
literally, like not being able to sleep, having the anxiety, having the attacks, like stuff that I never went through before. Like, what the heck is happening? And who is this person? And so when you said that spoonful of rice, I was like, oh my God,
Yeah, I
I
remember those
remember
days. I
those
remember that moment.
days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember like the first few days when everything kind of hit the fan.
Hmm.
I literally like I would lie in bed for 12 hours just wide-eyed, had zero winks of sleep. You know those nights where you think you haven't slept, but you actually have slept? Yeah, that was not what was happening. I was literally awake all night long with the lights on, rolling around, trying to sleep, turning off the lights, then turning them back on, trying to read, distract myself in some way. Nothing happened. So then I would sleep during the day.
Mm-hmm.
And luckily, the first 2 weeks, my mom and dad were actually with us when all of this stuff happened.
Mm-hmm.
But like, then they had to go back to Canada, and I'm on my own. And yeah, the idea of sleep and eat was just not possible. Like, I don't know if I looked like I had it all together, but I certainly don't feel like I did.
Yeah.
Um, it's amazing what that reaction can do to us as women. I don't think men go through the same way. They don't. I don't think I'm speaking for someone I can't represent, but I don't think they react in that way where they're like their stomach hurts, they can't eat,
Yeah.
right? They can always do those things that like instinct creates,
Yeah.
right? But women tend to like that, those instincts shut down. It's
Definitely shut down. And then I remember adding more to me, like the level of guilt, like
mm,
everything is my fault. So that I added that onto it, and I was just like, oh my God.
yeah.
So it took a minute to like do all the work, like to work through like it's not your fault, you didn't do anything wrong, like you're deserving, you're worthy, all the affirmations that we speak of. But
Mm,
yeah, my body just shutting down, and like you're saying, laying in the bed like for hours and not sleeping. I remember one time because we stayed at my father-in-law's house, and I remember like I love this room. I still love this room to this day, but it's his sunroom and it's like yellow and orange and it's like super, super bright. And I love being in that room, but I was in my happy room, you would say, but I wasn't happy, clearly. But I remember just being in such a dark, like all I could see was dark. Like my eyes are open and I just see like
mm,
darkness, like such a cloud. And it was just not a good place. It's just not a good place at all. And I'm thankful we're going to talk about gratitude. I am thankful for my babies in a sense of they were the push for me to get the help, especially my daughter. I'm like, girl, you over here literally going through, but I did not want her to see her mom go through all those elements and emotions and things and normalize it. I remember, like, if I think back, we want to talk about generational things, but looking back, like, oh my God, I remember when my mom was going through this. I remember when my grandma was going through something similar. And it was just like, girl, that's just how it is, And I did not want that to be my story or her story. It's like, I have got to do the work to get myself healthy and healed and teach her how to use her voice and stand up for herself and all the things, which she's very good at, by the way. She's very good right now.
you did good.
But even for my son, even for Trey, to show him like what it looks like. And he's very clear and he's such a gentleman and he's such a good kid. And it was so important that I did the work for myself, but so that way I'm showing them as
Yeah.
well. Like life be lifing, but we not about to sit here forever.
Yeah, no, there was a large part of me that felt the exact same. It was like I needed to show my daughter what was unacceptable,
Mm-hmm.
and I needed my son to see that maybe this like what was unacceptable as well, but from different eyes, right?
Mm-hmm.
A different perspective. For me, it was incredibly important that the children understand, and this is just always how I put it. And it's like when I speak with them about it, obviously they're 11 and 7 now, but they were 8 and 4 when all of this happened, right? So, um, I remember saying like, I won't be with someone who can't be nice to me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that he was bad to me in certain ways, right? Like there was no abuse in that way or anything like this. But if someone can't be nice to me, like love is nice, love is kind and sweet and yeah, okay, it's not always cuddles and butterfly kisses or whatever, but it's never mean-hearted.
Mm-hmm.
And that was incredibly like that was the center of everything I was doing was just making sure that my daughter does not confuse that kind of love for what real love is. And that I think, I mean, I probably would have accepted way more if I had a different perspective. You know, even the idea of like stay together for the children or whatever. It was like, I know I'm doing this for the children. I'm doing this so that they see in time what real love is, what strong women are.
Yeah.
Because you know, in my healing journey, also saw a lot of conversations about like generational wounds and things like this. And I remember thinking, you know, looking back on, let's even just say the women in my family, not all the women in my family, but there are stories of, you know, people that hated their partners but couldn't leave. And generationally speaking, at that time, couldn't get bank accounts, couldn't have credit cards, so had no choice but to stay. And, you know, in the generations since then as well, you know, the structural system that women are put into, where we really are codependent on a man, because the system just makes it out that, okay, the man is, generally speaking, the man is going to have the full-time job. The woman has a part-time job if her man kind of allows it to a certain way. And that's where I was almost glowing, where I'm like, my man allows me all these things. It's so great. You know, he takes the children so that I can do this. And that might have been the wrong attitude to have at that time. I just didn't see it. And then, you know, you think of the generations as they kind of move forward and forward, and you go, there's a lot of women, not just in my own family, but like overall, that stayed in relationships because they had no other choice and died really unhappy. You know, I actually spoke with my aunt after all of this stuff happened. I went home for a family reunion. It had already been planned for months, but it was two months after the separation. And I spoke with my aunt, and she had said, you know, my grandfather had always been sick. He had diabetes for years, and he had parts of his foot that had been taken out and things like this. And the relationship between my grandparents wasn't always the healthiest. I think they truly did love each other, and I don't think there was any abuse or anything like this. But there was years and years of kind of heartbreak there, let's say. And my aunt said something really, really powerful to me that was, you know, she had kind of at some point said to, my grandmother had said to my aunt, when your father passes away, I'll, you know, do this with the house, and I'll paint this here, and I'll put a little reading nook over here. And they had been together since they were 18.
Oh, wow.
Right. And now they're working their way towards their 80s. And unfortunately, my grandmother passed first. It was very unexpected, very, very quick, like one day to the next. And it just shocked all of us. But to think that, you know, she was almost seeing her next steps, because my grandfather had been sick for so long. She was seeing her next steps. And I don't want to say she was excited about him passing, but excited about those next steps, let's say. And she never got to have that. And I remember thinking, you know, I don't want that to be my story. I don't want it to be well, dad wasn't nice to my mom. I don't want my children saying, you know, my mom wasn't happy for so long and she was looking forward to this and never got it.
Yeah.
Right. So as much as it sucks to be heartbroken, and it sucks to be in a separate family, and then I don't have my kids 50% of the time, and I don't have all the things that I loved and valued about that life that I had built and put together myself. The other side is I'd still rather have this than what is truly not the love I thought it was.
Absolutely. This podcast episode is brought to you by FemForce, the ultimate solution for entrepreneurs craving consistent professional content without the hassle. Say goodbye to content creation overwhelm and hello to streamlined process that delivers 50 to 60 stunning photos and short video clips in just 1 hour. With shoots held at Instagram-worthy locations across cities like Austin, Atlanta, Dallas, DC, Denver, Houston, Miami, Nashville, Phoenix, and Tampa, FemForce ensures you have fresh visuals to elevate your brand every month. Whether you're launching a new product, updating your website, or keeping your social media vibrant, FemForce Shoots has got you covered. Don't miss this game-changing opportunity to elevate your brand and finally get the content you deserve. I've got an exclusive code just for my listeners to get you started today. So you can stop waiting and start showing up like the boss you are. Click the link below and let FemForce Shoots bring your brand to life. That voice, like finding your voice. And I think that's why I'm really passionate about teaching other women how to find their voices, because Lord, like it's, of course, that's me. I'll pause for a second.
No worries.
Sorry, I don't even know if I have any more. Can I see? We'll just edit. My bad. Of course, it's me. I don't even know what this alarm is for.
Oh no.
that makes it even worse.
I didn't hear it. So like there's no beep beep beeps in the background or anything.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. We'll just edit. I was like, Lord, it would be my phone. But the importance of teaching women how to find their voice and speak up and communicate. I'm so passionate about that now. And that's because I didn't have a voice and I had to do the work. So a lot of the work I do with my ladies, I always start from their childhood because I had to start from my childhood because Lord. But goodness. No, but I never had a voice up until my Lifetime movie, my healing journey started. But that is because I can remember like my mom being like, you're going to go to school and you better not talk and I better not get a note from the teacher. And I interpreted that like I could not talk. And so I remember like being in class and just being the quiet one. And I would never be like, gosh, she doesn't really talk that much. And I would only talk to certain people at certain times. But I like carried that like all the way through. And I allowed people to tell my story. I allowed people to talk for me for such a long time until everything happened. And I'm like, oh, this is not going to work. Like, I have got to speak up and say what I'm truly feeling, what I want, and establish those boundaries. And now it's like, well, I just can't stop talking because I have a voice. And it's pretty cool.
My voice won't shut up.
I won't shut up.
It's
It's pretty cool to have
That's
that. But it's so important. I'm like so passionate, but I'm like, gosh, it's like, I don't want to say I was robbed from it. I don't even know how to explain it, but it's like for so long I didn't have a voice. Was I taught not to have a voice? I don't even know how to.
Yeah, did we have a voice and then we're told not to use it? I'm inclined to think that's the way, because it's not that we were never taught like how to activate it, maybe is like you're not taught how to have a voice. I don't think little boys are taught not how to have a voice and girls aren't. I think girls are more often stifled.
Yeah.
Like I don't know about you. I don't know if we're exactly the same generation. I'm 41 years old, just for context here.
I'm 30.
And
I'm 38. Shh.
Young buck.
Oh, whatever.
Wish I was still 38. But like I remember I have a very similar childhood. I was very shy. Even now I still identify as someone who's shy.
Yeah.
And for someone, like my friends who see the podcast and the YouTube and the content creation and all of that, and they go, you think you're shy? And I'm like, I do think I'm shy.
I am too.
And I want to gift like not just my daughter, but like all future women the ability to speak for themselves. Like I remember at one point, I was with a friend and his son and the son's girlfriend, and the kids are teenagers, and we were at a wedding. And at some point, like right in the middle of the ceremony, the teenage girl gets up and leaves the church. And we thought that was weird, like right now. And then found out later through the son that she had started her period. And then next time I saw her, she was wearing a different dress. And you're like, oh, okay, poor kid. That's a terrible moment to like realize, oh my God, this has happened and I'm not prepared.
Yeah.
And so she was doing such a great job. She was trying to be available, mentally and emotionally available through the rest of the wedding process. And she tried to talk to people and all this kind of stuff. And at one point, my friend kind of turned to her, and he had got her ibuprofen earlier. And I remember thinking, oh my God, when I was a teenager, if I had been with my boyfriend's family and this had happened, I would literally die.
Yeah.
Like,
Shrink.
no dramatics here. I would literally die.
Mm-hmm.
And then like her boyfriend's dad is getting her like pads and ibuprofen, the whole thing. And then after a little bit, he kind of turned to her and he said, like, do you want to go home? And she said, yes.
Mm.
And it was like, it's so early in the night and we want to have fun and it's a family wedding. And you're like, but like and at some point, maybe 5, 10 minutes later, she kind of perked up a little bit and she was like trying to manage her feelings, whatever. And he kind of said like, well, she looks fine now, so maybe we'll just leave it and hope that she's for the better. And I was like, well, first of all, no, no, no. You as the adult have said to her, do you want to go? And she used her voice and said, yes, you need to listen now.
Yeah. Take
You
her home.
cannot ignore this. Like if you just kind of go, oh, we'll just hope she's fine now. And more than likely, having been a female in that situation plenty of times where you go to a wedding and you're on your period or
Yep.
do something you don't want to do and you have that feeling of, I just want to be in my sweatpants at home.
Yep.
And so I just basically said to him, I was like, you need to honor this right now. And more than likely, she's using the last of her energy because she thinks we're leaving soon. She's like, I'm just going to perk up. I'm going to put a smile on my face because now we've agreed that we're leaving soon and I can be in my sweatpants in 20 minutes. So for you to now just forget about it and hope that she doesn't notice we didn't leave is super unfair. And that, like, I think that is a really good, let's say, example of how often women are taught to not say anything.
Yeah.
And if anything, when we finally do say something, we need our elder people to go, no, 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 we're listening to this child. She is a teenager, sure, but she's still a child. And right now we're teaching her how to speak for herself. And that when she speaks for herself, she will be respected and not blamed and not guilted and not anything else. We're doing this. She said, yes, we're doing this.
Yep.
Like, so, and I think it's easy to forget in those moments and hope, wow, the children, they'll just figure it
They're
out.
fine.
But I think it's more important in those moments.
Yeah, it's so important. And when you said you're shy, like people think that, you told me you're shy. I think I'm a shy person too. Like I don't care what nobody says. I'm shy, okay? I'm an introvert. I don't like people. I say I don't like people.
Yes, you do.
Oh my God. Okay, fine. Some people.
Okay.
No, but I still characterize myself as an introvert because I don't like to be around a lot of people. I just really don't. And so when I'm in the Chi Quita Mack land and I'm doing all these things and going to all these places, I'm like, that's not even Chiquita. That is LaShawn. That is my middle name. That is LaShawn who's out here and doing the things because once I'm done, I'm exhausted. Like
Yeah.
even once I leave
The
here
real
today.
Chi Quita Mack is on the sofa now in sweatpants and a bowl of
Listen,
popcorn.
yes, seriously, watching Netflix, watching documentaries. I'm such a nerd. Watching the History Channel. Don't play with me. Like that's that is me. And even when I leave here today, I'm done. I'm tired. I don't want to do anything else. And I think that's why I'm so like particular on who I talk to and who I work with and who I trust in everything because it has to align and I have to feel comfortable. If I don't feel comfortable, it's not happening. So
Are you a projector?
Huh?
Are you a projector for human design?
I don't
Do you
know.
know your human design? Oh, girl, check it out. I
No.
think you're a projector.
You think
That's
I
like
am?
exactly the same as
You think
me.
so?
And basically, it's like we can be super passionate and super like excited about things when we feel like it's truly aligned with
Oh
what
yeah.
we
Oh
want to
yeah.
talk about. But the idea of like either talking to the wrong people,
Mm-hmm.
people who your message is aligned, but they're not listening or it's not like on their level, or then talking about things that are not necessarily your passion are more exhausting than anything. I'm willing to bet you're a projector.
You're probably right because that is so me. I'm like, what? What are you?
And that's probably why we fit so well
Yeah, like
together when we were roommates.
what are
Yeah.
you saying or what are you talking about? And I'm very particular. Like even if I'm in uniform and like meetings and stuff, it's like, do not talk to me for 30 minutes about nothing.
Right.
What is it? What's the problem? And how you gonna fix the problem? And then that's it. 10 minutes. All I need is 10 minutes and I have to go. I'm
And
very
then the
like,
rest of the hour,
I gotta
Everybody shut the
goodbye,
door.
goodbye, goodbye. I don't, I just can't. So I'm very, very particular about
Like,
those things. Yeah,
yeah.
that's probably why we
I think
connect.
check your human design. I think you're a projector.
Yeah.
And then call me.
Now you're gonna have me curious. Like, am I a projector? I probably am.
I think I'm a projector.
Oh my God. So I want you to talk to me about kind of the space that you're in right now. What are some of the things that you are grateful for? And how is everyone in this process right now?
Ooh, okay. So, I'm not going to talk about my ex. I think it's been too long since we've been together. We've been separated now for more than
Yeah,
two
it has
years.
been a while.
So it's not possible for me to speak for
For
him,
him.
but I'll speak for myself and the children. I'm now out of the house that I had built. That was hard
Mm-hmm.
and sad. It was sad for the children. And then as the emotional like base for the children, it was really hard for me to be the stability even when I was mourning and losing things. But I'm now, so I was in the house and there was a couple different issues that weren't being resolved because, you know, my ex was the only one who could do certain things and like we have a smartphone, it was all connected through his phone. So it was just not ideal when he was no longer living there. Um, and after there was a few like key moments when I was in the house, and then I got a message from one of my very best friends here, who in German said, you know, by the way, the renter in our house is leaving the 1st of March. And if you want it, I've already talked to my husband. If you want it, it's yours.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 2 bedroom apartment, but it's quite big, but 2 bedrooms. And I remember immediately thinking, I have 2 kids. I can't do that.
Yeah.
And so I kind of said that to her, it was like, oh God, if it was a 3 bedroom apartment, I would take it in a blink of an eye. And then, over the course of the evening, it was like, no, I can do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Like that kind of, I don't know what happened, but it was just like, oh, wait a minute. I keep saying I can't do it. I can do anything. So we're here now. We've moved in the 1st of March. The children have their own bedrooms, decorated to who they are now instead of who they were when they were back in my belly. And that was like kind of how I pitched it to them of like, let's build something for who we are now and not who we were back then.
Mm-hmm.
So when I first got here, I wanted to leave the marriage bed behind. I didn't want to bring it with me.
Of course.
And I bought the child's bed off of the kid who was living here before. It was a mom and her one child, which fits a 2 bedroom apartment. So I bought the bed off the kid and was sleeping on that and was just consistently telling myself, like, I'm going to buy a Murphy bed and sleep here in the living room.
Mm-hmm.
And I've now bought my Murphy bed. I got myself a new car because from one day to the next, it was taken away from me. Even though it's still being leased in the family name, it was taken away. And then I had nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought myself a car. There was a few weeks in the last couple of months, let's say, that have been incredibly hard.
Yeah.
But the last even week, I just feel myself just coming back to that super high positivity of like, I've done it. I can do anything. We've set this place up to be super, super comfortable. Like the living room is really big and kind of like square, so to say.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like a little cubby over here where I can have my bed, and that doesn't really affect the living room situation. The kids are comfortable. It's not too big when the kids are here. It's not too small when the kids are here, but it's also not too big when they're not, and they're not here 50% of the time.
Right.
So that, like, in that way, we've set up life for this next step, for who we are now,
Yes.
instead of who we were 10 years ago and what we were looking forward to 10 years ago. I still have my moments of being truly sad,
Of course.
but it's mainly like how this affects the children. It's mainly for the life that I had hoped for them and the fact that that's gone.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's fair as well to mourn that. I think it's okay. And when I'm sad, I just kind of give myself the ability to be sad, right? Like just be sad. It's okay to be sad. But then that's also met with moments of like, you know, I didn't see it at the time, but now that I'm out, of that relationship, I do realize that there wasn't the nice love that I needed.
Mm.
And I was accepting it because we had this beautiful life and we have these two fantastic children and we have all the things that we were working for so long. But that doesn't still mean that it was right. And I've kind of come to terms with that now. The kids are more optimistic. I always say they go to their dad happily and they come back to me happily. And I think that's the like best way for their life to be. Of this constellation, that is the best thing for them, right? They're not like, oh, I don't want to go with him or I don't want to go back there or I don't like it over like they don't have any of those feelings. So it is the best case in this situation for everyone.
You said one word twice and it stuck to me. And you said the word mourn,
Uh,
mourn. And I think it's important to hear you say that because people don't always associate this healing process and relationship situations and things like that with grief.
mm,
And we definitely go through the grieving process. And it's so important to bring up. We go through all the steps of grief when something traumatic happens. And this is just as strong. It's like, did someone physically die? No, but something did physically, something died, you know?
yeah,
And so
yeah.
we do go through that grieving process. So being able to identify that you are mourning and I am allowed to be sad. I'm allowed to go through this moment. I'm allowed to feel this way. But I have the tools to bring myself back. I have the tools to recognize what I've overcome. I have the tools to see everything that I've built. I can do this because I can do anything. Those are the things. That's what we want to get to because the healing process, like I always say, it's a circle. It's a circle, guys. We're not always fully healed. We're always healing. And we do have those moments where it's like, damn, because I have them too. And I can feel it coming. I'm like, oh, no, no, no. You done too much work, girl. Hold up.
Yeah.
Hold up. Let me open up my bag real quick and pull something out because I've come too far to go all the way back there. But I'm allowed to feel that. You can't
Mm,
tell me I'm not allowed to feel. You're not allowed to say, Keita, it's been 11 years since X, Y, and Z. You should be
mm,
over it. You're not allowed to say that to me. And I wouldn't allow anyone to say that to me. This is my process. But I do have the tools to get through that and to teach others how to do that. So the fact that you said mourn and I'm thinking mindset and all the things, I appreciate hearing you say that.
mm. Yeah, going back to mindset, I kind of been lucky in the sense that I have always had an incredibly optimistic mindset.
Yeah.
Like my life in itself was unconventional with two diplomatic parents leaving and moving to different countries every 3 or 4 years. I was raised in Japan and Kuwait. I've lived in 8 or 9 different countries and learned 5 different second languages in my life. And in many ways, you can look at it and go, I mean, that's amazing, and she's blessed, and it's wonderful. But there was also hardships that came with that, and there was hard things that came with that. But I was always just super like, okay, what's the next adventure? Where like I don't know why, but I have always been able to kind of focus on the good instead of allowing myself to be swallowed by the bad.
Mm-hmm.
This is definitely the hardest thing that I've ever gone through in my whole life, and that is saying something because I've had some hardships.
Mm-hmm.
But the other side is like, luckily for me, my mindset muscle is worked enough that it's not hard for me to kind of go, okay, but where can I find the good in this? The spoonful of rice,
Mm-hmm.
or like my car is old and whatever, but I paid for it myself. I've
Yeah.
pulled like I got what I wanted, what I needed for the children. We've done the things here in the house that needed to be done so that the kids are happy.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think mindset is basically 80% of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if dumbest examples, grocery store or gassing up the car or cleaning the shoes out of the front of the house. If you go into it thinking, I hate this, I hate that I have to do this, I don't want to do this is gonna suck, then it's
It's
gonna
gonna
suck.
suck. Yeah.
And if you're like, I get to do this, Either, I get to go grocery shopping and decide what I want to eat for dinner tonight all by myself, and no one gets to tell me what I want to eat. Or I get to cook for my kids. I get to put their adorable little shoes away because, they're just being kids flitzing around and one shoe's on one side and one shoe's over here. But you're like, I get to do
Literally.
this. Right? Like if your mindset is, and I mean, it's such a cliche, but like if you think you can or you think you can't, either way, you're right. It's the same. It's like if you say I'm gonna hate this, you're right.
Mhm.
If you say I can do anything, I've done worse, I've figured this out again,
Yeah.
then you're like you just kind of built up this wall, protective wall around you that just pushes you up just by yourself. And I think mindset is that tool. It's the
Mhm.
tool in business, it's the tool in content creation and standing as a self-proclaimed shy person in front of a room of businessmen and telling them your grammar is wrong and this is how you're going to be right. Like all of those things, like it's it all just comes down to the way that you see it. And if you want to hate it, you will.
Yep.
If you say you hate it, you find all the reasons not to. And that's, I guess, the trick of that gratitude journal was just like identifying what are three things I can be grateful for in this day. And then, I first like 2 weeks I would write like I'm grateful for Hannah and I'm grateful for Felix and I'm grateful for the sofa.
Mhm.
And then the next day it's like, no, I'm grateful that Hannah can still find time to giggle.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful that Felix hasn't really noticed this yet and is still his 4-year-old jubilant class clown self. It's like it's so much more powerful when you really focus instead of just being like, I'm grateful that the sky is blue. I'm grateful that it didn't rain. I'm grateful that the garbage took all the diapers away.
No, you're
Those are my three for today.
you
Next.
are you're absolutely right with the mindset. And really quick, I just thought of my daughter this past weekend. She had a track meet, and it's always a toss up if she's going to do the 200 first or if she's going to long jump first, and it's always like, oh my god, type of thing. Okay, so this time she ran the 200 first, and she's determined to get 26. So she ran her little heart out. She didn't get it yet. We're almost there. We're almost there. But right as she crossed the finish line, they said first and second call for long jump. So she was like, oh my God, every time. Hey, and she just starts going through. And then they had her jump with the 13, 14-year-olds. She's 12. So she's like, and then I have to jump with the big girls. And I'm like, it doesn't matter if you jump with the big girls. You're the only 11, 12. Like, you won. You just have to get one on the board. And I said, she's trying this new technique. I said, this is the perfect time. Try your technique. Like, you have nothing to lose. Like, you're already going to the Junior Olympics. Just, this is practice. Her mind was just not there. First one, scratched. She didn't even touch the board. She literally ran right through. And I just looked at her. And so her coach was like, can she do it again? And he was like, she ran through. No, she can't do it again. So
Oh.
that counted as a jump. So she was upset. And then she's like, okay. I'm like, look, mama, you got 3 more jumps. Just get one. You just have to get one. She got the second one. She jumped the 14.5, which is for her not good. I'm like, that's the mindset you're in, that's fine. But she's like, no, this is not good. So she started crying after that. And that's when I said, Aaliyah, when you crossed that finish line and they said first, second call, you were already defeated. I said, your mind already told you that you weren't going to do well today. So this is what's happening because you already said to yourself, oh my God, every time I don't want to do this. And this is the ultimate result. And so her last 2 jumps, she did scratch. And so, I mean, she didn't do her best, but I did. I was like, this is the lesson on mindset, mama. Like, we're going to a big stage more than you're an athlete anyways, but that mind is going to carry you. And I've taught her, positive self-talk. And so I love seeing her on the line and she's like, I got this. I could do, and so it's really cool. But yes, that mindset, like if whatever you say is going to happen. And even for me, I look at my 10-year process, my healing journey. It's been 10 years since all my stuff has happened. But gosh, my mind has carried me through and everything. And I keep my journals. I keep them because I like to self-reflect and look back. But everything that I wrote in those journals has come true. Everything. And there's 2 things that I wrote the beginning of this year, and they're about to happen. Oh my God. And when it does, you will know. Trust me, I'm not going to say on here. But my mind is what gets me through when I'm like exhausted and I'm like, okay, I can tell when it's like, girl, you need to take a break, or if it's like nerves or fear or what it is. But my mind is the reason why I am here today. So yes, our mindset,
Is
key,
everything. And it is
key game
leading
changer.
the future of girls. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
I remember when we were in Portugal, your daughter, um, won a competition.
Yeah.
And the first thing she did was call you, and we were
Yep.
together, and you were like, my daughter just did it. Like, and but that is, you're giving her all these tools that
Mhm.
maybe you had to give yourself in that moment. You're giving them to her. She's taking it, and then she's calling you because you're her best friend in that moment.
Yeah.
And we were actually together for two big moments because your daughter won this competition. I don't remember the details of the competition, but she won. And then we were also together when you found out that you were getting your
My doctor.
honorary,
Yeah.
your doctorate.
Yeah. Yeah. And we
Yeah.
we partied and the people came and were like, what's going on in our house? I think I broke a wine glass that
We
night.
celebrated good. Yes, we did.
Oh my God, we had such a good time. Kate, I want to thank you so much for again being a part of my journey and continuing to be with me as I make my dreams come true. And I love watching you make your dreams come true. So thank you so much for being here today.
I am so honored. I'm honored to be here. I'm honored to watch you. I'm honored to know you personally and just watch on this journey. It is inspiring, and
Thank you.
it's dumb to say because you did this, like it feels maybe condescending, I don't know, but I'm just so proud of you.
Thank
I
you.
feel like it's just wonderful to watch. So I'm here, and I will always support in any way and come back and talk. I could talk mindset with you for hours and hours and hours. But I just appreciate being any little piece of this puzzle that is the Chiquita Mac.
Thank you. Can you tell the audience where they can find and connect with you?
Yes, so sorry. My Instagram, the big Instagram is
Yes.
english.anywhere.de at underscore Kate. So you can find me there. And then I also have memberships for teachers and coaches and things. So if English isn't really your interest, you can find me at Balancing Teachers on Instagram as well, because that's just it's more coaching. It's life set, mindset, lifestyle kind of thing. It's a much smaller page, but it is meant for a different kind of person,
Yeah.
right? So that's the point there. So you can find me at either one of those.
Please go find her and follow her. It's amazing. Both pages are amazing. So I love
thank,
it.
thank you.
All right, you guys. If
Thank you.
you are listening to this wherever you listen to your podcast, make sure to leave a review. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to subscribe. All right, you guys. Until next time. Bye.